Hello, everybody. Welcome. All right, we're going to turn this way down. Hi. Time for some testing today. We'll see how this goes. I'm excited. We'll let people make their way in. Say hi in chat. I'm sure I know many of you that are here. All right, so we will start talking about today. Let's just get into it. So I'm going to be, let's see, I got to share screen today. My OBS is being weird, so we're just going to do it old school. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not going to be right. Let's try this again. Entire screen. Sweet. All right. So we're going to do some integration testing today. So lots and lots of great feedback about sesh so far. I've been really, really excited. We're at 63 stars. How about that? And some people have been forking it. And, you know, we've been writing features. We've been breaking features. We've been, a lot of hard work's been going on already in this place. We're at 69 commits. Let's go. That's a number to celebrate. So it's been good. I've been having a good time. However, someone will submit a ticket and go, oh, hey, I need this particular thing to work a certain way. And I go, okay, great, I can fix that. And then there's some edge case that I didn't test, and sure enough, I broke something else, right? So that's happening. And we don't want that. So what we need today, and what I'm going to spend some time working on, is setting up an integration test where we can make sure that we can connect to sessions, and we can switch to active sessions, and we can all of the things that are needed to make sure that we don't break anything important and disrupt people's, you know, day to day. Because at this point, this is pretty integral to most people's workflows. At least it is for me. When I don't have this, I feel much slower. So that's the plan. As a developer, I want integration tests. I want integration tests to test the final results of the CLI to prevent regressions on future development. So someone turned me on to VHS, and apparently VHS is this very cool little way of recording the command line, and you end up with this sort of final result here. But what's even cooler is, if we take a look at this, you can save the output to a file and think of it like this is the test, and you can use that to rerun the same command, record it, and compare it to the golden, right, this golden tape. If I had thought about it, I might have made that background like a golden tape. But that's the idea. So we're going to play around with that today. A little bit of CI work, a little bit of experimenting with VHS and seeing how that plays out. So we're going to want this action. And do they mention how to test? I think that's going to be the trickiest part here, even if I just have to run it. What's up, guys? I see more people coming in. Good to see you. So, Happy Path. Let's talk about it. Happy Path. Actually, you guys would probably like this. I'll show you. I have my little startup script using Gum. So I can say I want sesh, please. And my script automatically opens up NeoVim and the files, which is great for me. We're going to go ahead and issue list. And we're going to pull up integration testing. This is called Octo. Now we will So we want to start. We want to switch to a different section. I want to like the original section, or we want to. I'm just trying to think through pieces of this that if any of these stop working, we want to not let the code move forward, and we don't want to publish any new releases. Switching to a different session, switching back to the original session. I mean, those are the main steps. Oh, I want to like verify to a Git session to a Git work tree session. So we'll test the happy path here. If we go to the CLI, we got our clone command. Maybe we clone. That one I'm least worried about. It's just sort of a nice to have. Choose is probably going away. For those that were curious why that hasn't had much development, I'll probably drop it and just let people integrate with fuzzy as they see fit. But feel free to disagree in the comments if you want to talk about it. I haven't purged that code out yet. But we got some other cool features coming. So we're going to see how that goes. Hey, look, Charm just liked my tweet. That's cool. They must have been watching. Let's see if anyone from Charm pops into chat today. That would be fun. I should get Bash Bunny. I should get her on the show. We should talk about Go with her. That would be fun. She's doing some content creation for them. Deprecate choose. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to deprecate it. I want to drop it. I just want to get rid of it. Like, I don't know if anyone's using it, but yeah, that's the plan. You just pipe it. Yeah, you just bring your own thing. And I had not a short. My last week's YouTube video was all about fuzzy CLIs and which ones are available for you to pick from. And I used sesh as like an example. So check that out if you haven't seen it. Yeah, we're gonna drop it. That's the idea, I think. All right, so let's just try this. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but you install it. Let's see, do I have VHS yet? I don't. All right, so we're going to install it. I think you can just brew it. And then we're going to just use it. So we're going to call this a happy path. And then you vim it. Let's do it. Can we see clearly enough? And let's just go ahead and Joe, I don't know if Joe's here tonight, but Joe, I'm gonna look at your branch, man. We've got startup scripts as something that's supposed to be on the pipeline here real soon. But let's just do VHS stream. And let's just add VHS file. So we can decide where to write it to. That's cool. We can set up a terminal and its sizing. We can run commands. We can sleep for dramatic effect. Okay. So really what we can do is we can show off the feature and the product and how it works, which is pretty cool. What I'm wondering is output require settings. Cool. Does TS install VHS? Hey, thank you, Tree Sitter. I appreciate that. We can pick a shell. We can pick all of this stuff. All right, so let's just run it and see what happens. So if we VHS it, VHS happy path. Oh, that's cool. You can publish it. Right? That was a nice surprise. It just sort of showed up. And we're going to end up with not a VHS, a GIF. All right. So that was simple. What I'm wondering now, generate tape files based off of your actions. So we can record it, perform any action you want, and then exit the terminal session to stop recording. Oh, I see. I see. So we can get ahead of ourselves here if we want. Let's go ahead and I'm going to do not disturb. We can publish. We can server. Yes. So this is where it gets a little funky, is that I'm going to want to rerun this. We can require things. That's good. But what dependencies are these? A tape file that requires gum and glow to be in the path. Okay, that's fine. Setting the shell, fish. I like what they're thinking. I don't mind leaving it as bash for now, but we need to be able to, let's just VHS this, happy path it. And I think there's a bug that we may want to tackle tonight, but we'll see. We're going to require echo, yes, but we're going to require tmux and sockside and sesh. So I don't need to echo anything. I just need to type out sesh. Oh, and connect dot files. Something like that. I don't know what's going to happen. If this is an isolated environment, it should crash, right? And I don't know if it's going to know what sesh is either. So let's see what happens. Now, can I we're going to hide this guy. Can I? Oh, look at that. It switched to dot files. So it literally executed that. So that's where it's going to get a little hairy, is I do need this to be a tmux session. So like, I don't know if this is going to even work. We're going to find out. There may be just that we execute commands and then we make some sort of simple assertion if we can't use this tool. Type tmux attach. Enter. It created happy path GIF. GIF? What are we thinking, chat? Yes. So that is my tmux setup. So what I'm expecting is that we're going to have to create this in a virtual environment. And then in that virtual environment, we're going to configure it the way that we want. And then for the sake of recording, I probably will have to like get rid of the timestamp on the tmux status bar is my guess. And so I want to run this in like a virtual machine. So my main question is, can we run it in a virtual machine right now? Set typing speed, that's funny. Delays, set themes, that's cool. You can set themes. And margin, okay. So these are all whatever. I'm glad there's all these options, and I'm sure we could make this look really cool on the README, right? And like show off the features. Keep your GIF up to date. Also can be used for integration testing. Use the output to generate. Okay, so we can use ASCII. That's cool. So my actual happy path is going to be ASCII. I'm kind of curious what this looks like when it's done. And it switched. That was fun. All right. So did we get, I got a lot of things going on here, don't I? ls. Okay. Happy path ASCII. Yeah, look at that. It dumps the output. That's kind of what we're going for here. That's what I wanted, is that we are able to execute these. And then this is my tmux setup. So of course it's going to look different, but we want like the output of the terminal to show. So that'll be the name of the session that we connected to. Okay, let's see how quickly we can get to this. Yeah, I guess it does use Docker. Okay, so you're using Raycast and it's not honoring tmux config. What do you mean? Feel free to be more specific. So Raycast, all it can do is execute terminal commands from outside the terminal. So it's not very smart. It doesn't know what your tmux config is. It doesn't know. The only reason it knows where your sesh binary is because I had to explicitly set a path in the Raycast code to say, hey, go look in this path to find sesh. So Raycast is pretty unintuitive. Like it doesn't know much about what's going on. It just kind of blindly does things for you. So it's very much I've so far told people it's like a companion, not a replacement to the actual command line tooling. So this is the ASCII. So I generate it, and I compare it as just a diff. Store these files in Git repo to ensure there are no diffs between runs of the tape file. So yes, it is arc. This is arc. Okay, so we're just basically going to do like a simple git assertion. And if the file changed, we consider it a failure. All right. So I've been thinking these guys might be useful, although I do have a macOS specific. Maybe we'll start with just macOS and we'll just say brew install thing. I don't want to have to run brew install every time. So I'm hoping that like the dependencies can just be kind of baked in and there for me when I need them. This is one way of doing it. We could just create our own Docker image and host it on the container registry under GitHub. But I thought this could be useful. And then it's going to output a file. So today's Docker work. Oh boy. I'm good with Docker. I don't love this stuff sometimes. All right, so the idea is maybe we do make a macOS GitHub. Maybe we just do it all in GitHub Actions. Maybe I don't go through all this extra complexity. So there's our Docker file. Let's just run the workflow. So right now I have a basic check that thing works. So we're going to call this like integration test. Needs Go releaser. We install with brew. So this guy runs on macOS latest. That's fine for me. We're going to install all the things. But for now, this is going to install every time. So it's going to be a little bit slow. Maybe there's some caching. Maybe you guys can recommend some stuff in chat if you have some suggestions. Of course, just locking these versions in will help. I'm assuming these are going to update, and every now and then that might cause an issue on our side, which could be a good thing, where we get flagged early and we can patch things before the updates affect others. All right, so we're just going to try this then. VHS. And then we're going to run tmux on the VHS happy path what was it, .vhs? Am I already forgetting? It's a tape, right? So we will make that a tape. Once the tape ends, we end up with an ASCII file. So to do, check that ASCII didn't change. We might just start here. So I am running into a huge issue. Let's see, AI. File didn't change in Git. Something like that? Are we going to just do an exit code on git diff? I would be more than happy with that. So if it exits, we just want to fail, right? Well, so their GitHub action, Agus, I see your comment. The GitHub action is about like creating GIFs and keeping them up to date. So maybe there is something here where we can use it. I just need the ASCII, so I don't need auto commit latest generated file, upload it to, yeah. So this would be more specifically like just do the tape. So with this thing, run it, and then it's going to commit it. We're not trying to commit it. We're trying to like exit out of GitHub Actions and fail on purpose if this creates a diff. And if it doesn't create a diff, it tells us our integration test is valid and we can move forward. So what I'm going to start with first is we are going to not generate this. We're going to just do the ASCII, and we're just going to run it and like see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. The ASCII should fail the first time because we don't have a valid version of this, and that will be probably the hardest part. Maybe that'll be why I commit it, and then I have a separate step that does an assertion. Maybe I'm going to have to run an actual. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to run a script. I don't know if this is going to work. So I think if you get a non-exit code, that might be enough. So we could just say we're going to test it. So feature setup. Oh, and this is the fun part. This thing isn't going to run because I'm not releasing it. Maybe it just doesn't need Go Releaser for now, but I've got to turn that back on. Let's just run it and see what happens. Actually, it won't work because we have to install it before we can run it. That's the fun of CI, right? It's like there's a chicken before the egg kind of scenario here. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not going to commit that. Why is that still there? Let's get rid of that for now. And let's feature whip. And we're going to say test CI VHS assertion. All right, so this should fail. And we're going to see it here. Oh, I was a little premature there. And we're going to open the pull request. For that, let's see what happens. So what I noticed is that the tape file has some junk in it. I don't know exactly how that works and how that's going to play out, but it was definitely more than I expected. But it's pretty cool. We're able to test on Ubuntu and Mac. And then we do an integration test. So let's follow that. So install with brew. So we're going to install all the things. This is going to take way longer than I want it to. Part of me is thinking too that as we add unit tests to the project, the coverage there may prevent some of these bigger problems that we run into, like breaking an important feature, by trying to patch something else. But in my eyes, integration tests are your only real way of knowing that it actually works, right? Now, we can manually test, and I'm all for maybe some basic manual testing. But I don't really love the time sink of every time I make a code change, I have to go back and do all of these tests. There's sesh. All right, so we're already a minute 45 in, which isn't crazy for having all of these things already. And we got an exit code, which is good news. So what? It's going to say happy path no such file or directory. Oh no, we didn't attach the code, chat. All right, let's try that again. We got to run this whole thing over again with a uses checkout. My B. That was my B. All right. So we're going to fix lip check out code for test. All right. That was my fault. Because that test originally didn't need the actual source code. But what's cool is that it immediately starts. It doesn't really care about integration or unit tests. Now, the second thing I was thinking of is we could have individual integration tests where it's like all we do is attach a session, like more isolated testing. We attach a session before we start the tape and then we run it. But I don't know if VHS is capable of that kind of stuff. I think we're going to have to sort of run all these things all in a row and hoping that they don't step on each other and hoping that they run consistently, which I think consistency is going to be fine here. I think the bigger issue is dependency changes for sure. But look at this, FFmpeg is being downloaded. Why are we downloading FFmpeg? Oh, VHS, right. Because some of these are heavy. I don't know if you guys know some of these, but like I know a handful of these packages and they're pretty beefy, which is probably the point of using the GitHub action that they've pre-installed this stuff. But again, we're not testing if we just commit the file. This would be bad. Can I run it and will the code live on the next step? So this is a separate step. So part of me is thinking that this will be able to run. And if I put a require in it, I wonder if it's going to find that dependency. Maybe we run this separately. Maybe we run like a VHS action here. And maybe we run as a separate job, like this ad hoc way that I'm writing it. Let's see. Let's go back. Failed. Did it fail because it didn't work? Output, boom, do thing, creating exited? I don't see it actually got to the part that we wanted. So then that tells me maybe we do pivot to the action. Oh, we need a step, runs on, yes, runs on Mac OS latest. I think these are more expensive too, so we may be mindful that how often we run these. Happy path, please. So if this works, I would be very impressed. Now this guy, I'm not convinced made it to the end. They said creating. And then it never finished creating. So there's a small chance here that this is running into some sort of problem. So we will do a quick echo done with VHS. All right, so let's test VHS action and verify VHS is done. Some sloppy git commits, but we're making progress. I think I'm gonna sit. Here we go. Oh. Does anyone have any general questions or thoughts about sesh, or what's on your minds? Okay, so this guy immediately failed. Oh, did I not check out? Ugh, that was my bad. I did it again. Tmux U. I need to remember what that is. You know what? I'm seeing this. This could be useful for the raycast thing, right? I'm guessing that you're bringing this up because raycast really doesn't like if you try to start it up without Tmux already running. So when I use this tool, I can show it off. We'll have to kill Tmux to show it, but the short answer is make a pull request. But I'm curious what that does if anyone else is running into problems where they don't want UTF-8, which who doesn't want UTF-8, right? I would love to talk to them because it's a pretty standard thing nowadays. But Shivam, I don't know how to say your name, Shavim. Can you tell me why you would want to run -u? What's the problem? What are you facing? Okay, sweet. It does finish, and it does throw an exit code because we want it to be an exit code. We're gonna do this today. If you guys don't know, act lets me run, basically it lets you run GitHub Actions locally, which is super, super sweet. So friggin' handy. So I'm hoping I can like connect to the machine after I run it. Oh boy. Try run. You can create a Docker engine socket. I might just use this to allow it to make changes to the project and get the output, right? That's the idea. All right, so how are we doing with the other one? Did the other guy do okay? Both should fail, right? So VHS failed. Executable not found. So that's exactly what I thought. We talked about it earlier. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got a response on this one. So I would recommend you do set UTF-8 if that's the problem. Just set it. Like, it's not a big deal to set it. If you want your icons to render a certain way and your machine isn't defaulting to UTF-8, then I just highly recommend you explicitly set it, and it should be a non-issue. But that is your reason. I know you don't have other good reasons, but it is a good reason to set it. Good question here as well. Is it possible to define a session config? We are currently working through a PR, thanks to Joe, shout out to Joe, on creating like startup scripts, which are a more simplified version of Tmuxifier. There's less abstraction, but you can execute your own Tmux commands to start up a project. So it's coming. And I'll probably make a YouTube video on how that works when we decide to ship the feature and get some users to test it for us. Okay, so I don't like this idea. I don't really think it's going to work. I think the way I was doing it for now is going to work. However, it's probably not the most efficient thing, so we'll have to think through. Will that be a replacement? Yes. Like, you should be able to say, I want these windows to run these commands. And so just like what Tmuxifier does, you should be able to replace it. Which I've talked about integrating Tmuxifier or similar projects to Sesh. So if you have an idea of how that might work, I am open to that. Cannot connect to Docker. Is Docker running? Apparently not. Oh, almost got an update. That's cool. All right, so Docker's running. I should be on Ethernet, so we should get a fairly fast download time on these. But while that goes, we gotta think this through. You think so? Okay, well, cool. Well, I'm an author of some of those other Tmux plugins, so watch what you say. I was just kidding. Yeah, so there's a lot of Tmux session managers out there. I just really like the ideas that I've come up with over the year and a half or so that this has been around, and other developers have given me some other good ideas. And now that it's in Go, there's all these new contributors and stuff. And so, yeah, this is meant to be a very simple replacement, and you don't have to think about it much. It just kind of works. And that's what I like about it. But these little icons up here, these emoji thing, that's a plugin I wrote that swaps out like NeoVim for whatever icon it is you want. And Gitmux is a great one. This one shows you Git status details on the project. So like, this is the project and this is the Git status data, and it lives on the Tmux status bar. So that one's really cool too. What else? I use the on dot file. Let's go to like tmuxconf. If I hit Command O, this is a fork that I've been working on, and it's got a bug, as we can see. But this one lets you open URLs. I really like that one as well. And then this one, Tmux Overmind. What's Overmind? Oh, you might look up Overmind and see what that's about. But I've been playing around with a new plugin that is like a level above just managing sessions, but like managing scripts, like the dev script and the build script and the test script. And how would you manage all of that in a sesh style? And to be honest, it could translate to sesh, but at this point, it's sort of its own thing. And I'm not going to show it off today because I lost some of my source code on accident, but yeah, that's something to just look out for. Kind of cool. Wes term, yes. Okay, so you figured it out. You can probably set it on the Wes term config file. You can set environmental variables there if you want. Okay, so how's my act doing? It's successfully built. And my caches are throwing some sort of error. Something already exists. Setup Go. Did it even run? This doesn't look like it did much. Like at all. Did it execute anything? I don't know if the Mac OS thing works. So we got test 1, test 2, VHS integration tests. Okay. Is it an unsupported thing? Skipping unsupported platform? Yep, that's what I thought. So I can't even use act. That's a bummer. So I can't use that. Oh, nice. I bet that looked weird. So you had some rendering issues. I get it. I run into those issues as well. Right now I'm dealing with an issue of this icon here next to the file name sometimes isn't aligned, and I'm like, why is it aligned sometimes and not? So there's a lot of bugs with, especially what font you choose, and if you have a nerd font fallback, which is my method, versus using a nerd font directly, like a patched font. So I get it. I've been doing icon nerd font kind of development for a little while now, and I've run into some problems. Okay, so this is not going to work. So if I was to run tmux, oh man, I've been running into this problem where my computer resets the keyboard shortcuts back to what they originally were. And it's a huge pain in the butt. And every time I restart, it's been happening. I thought I fixed it by wiping my user, and it was all good until today. So I don't know what that's about, but it's very disappointing. Command space. And then AI is here. No? Yep, see, I lost it. Man, this is a pain. Let's close that. Try again. There we go. And I should have already asked it. Tmux without a config file. So you can say run it this way. So at least for now, we should be able to get. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to be limited with these tests. So we're going to run tmux without a file, and then we're going to run sesh connect dot files downloads. Everybody's got downloads, and then we're going to attach. Sorry. My bad, VHS. That was really clean. I don't know why they did it 3 times. Oh, I guess each character was bad, yeah. Oh, and look at that. It attaches. That's funny. And then sleeps 5 seconds. All right, so we got our new ASCII path. We will have an out file, so it always creates an out file even if you don't ask for it. Oh, I didn't hit enter. You have to explicitly say enter. I guess we need to sleep 500 milliseconds. And maybe we'll sleep another 3 seconds. It's working. It's working. Okay, so there's our sesh. Well, it didn't honor my F flag. Oh, because Tmux is already running. Man, this is not as fun as I thought it would be. Well, maybe it's just as not fun as I thought it would be. Okay, so for those that don't know what's going on, if Tmux is already running, oh wait, I should be able to. Can I run a second Tmux server on a different port? Sockets, that's what I meant. Second, okay, we're gonna try that. VHS, let's call it VHS. So those that aren't familiar with sockets, Tmux will always assign itself a socket and use that socket in order to make new sessions and switch sessions and reattach and detach and all of these things. They're related to the session, to the socket. And so this socket is something that we can hopefully use. It's a completely separate like Tmux server, basically. So let's see how well it plays with this. Yeah, so see, it's totally different. Why did it search? No such file or directory. I don't believe you. I guess it's going to run from where I start. Let's just run this. So this guy, oh look, we can have one session attached to another. That's a bad idea. So let's get out of there and let's run this. Okay. It doesn't seem to complain here. Interesting. We run this command and it's gonna, I guess we'll just run it and see what happens. It did it and it made it. Yeah, Nix, totally. Nix would be a good idea, actually. But that does not work because we can see that the no such file or direct. What is going on? Why would it do that? This is all super subjective to my computer still. There's a whole bunch of things that would have to change. I don't even think I can test this in an isolated way without something like Nix. So maybe Nix is our only path forward. I've never used Nix. I am not in the headspace that I could take on a brand new technology I've never touched before tonight, just to be totally honest with you guys. So the question is, what are the wins right now? Let's take a look at like the bug yesterday. So the bug yesterday, I think I closed it. So it was like the existing shell, or if there was an existing session and you tried to attach to it, I was running into an issue where when I filtered out the attached session and you tried to connect to that session again, it would crash because it was like, hey, this is a session that already exists, basically. And the way that FCF works right now, the output from FCF, it doesn't actually give you the output of the command. It just dumps this kind of jarbly mess at you, which is super disappointing. Maybe there's a way around that. And then I fixed it. Support hiding attached session, right? I mentioned it again, and then I made some pushes, and then we realized, oh, hey, well, we can't switch between sessions. So some of this is growing pains. Maybe the last hour was just a fun experiment. Maybe I could even create GIFs that can be put on the README with this tool. But how do we go about making sure these kinds of things don't show up again? I guess unit testing is the main answer. If integration testings are going to be hard and complicated and a lot of work, which is the direction it's going. Granted, it's only been an hour, and in my day job, I spend a lot more than an hour trying to deal with stuff like this. So I think what would be really fun for chat, and I kind of want to hear from some of you, tell me in the comments what you want to do, but maybe we go over the session startup scripts and we give Joe a merge tonight. That would be good. I think he would really appreciate that. And we can play around with that feature. Maybe we add a couple unit tests along the way and see what's the best way to mock some of the integration related logic. You like that? Agus is working on something as well. Agus is working on the database stuff. We appreciate you. So he's wondering if we could talk about how lists work. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about lists. So I appreciate you guys for playing around with VHS with me. We're gonna not move forward with this right now. We're gonna do a little retrospective here. Let's do a retrospective. VHS requires a particular environment with all the dependencies that sesh needs, i.e. Tmux, oxide, FCF, etc. This is has proven to be a bit more work than I expected. We may want to use Nix. Thanks to, I want to shout you out. VHS's ASCII output could prove useful if someone wants to spend more time on this. For now, I think unit testing needs to be prioritized, and we can find ways to mock some of the integrations. All right, so I've looked at this. We definitely can do mocking on the integrations. So like instead of running tmux attach, we run a mocked version and we get a specific output based off the input kind of thing. So they wouldn't be very complex, but I'm gonna unassign myself. Someone can pick this up if they want to play around with it. I want a stable product, but we're going to stick to this for now. Some other things popped up. Let's just kind of do that. We got a database implementation coming. And so there's definitely some next steps here. I guess I do see some merge conflicts, so just be mindful of that. And because you are sort of this cutting edge feature we've never played with, we're going to take our time with this. That's what I'll say. We'll take our time with it, but you've been patient so far. I appreciate that. So let's look at the sessions. We got 4 PRs. Okay, so this one's mine. We're going to close the PR. And I'll leave my branch there for now. And I'm going to go ahead and leave all that there. That's fine. We got a new flag. We got config parsing, which includes sessions and startup scripts, which is exciting. I kind of think I might be able to solve this. Why are we getting a merge conflict already? Exec startup script. This is... I don't know what this is. Whose is what? This is main. Was this my fault? Protect this branch. We might want to protect it. Although I'm the only one that can push to it. No, we'll be fine. Okay, so... Was this me? Yes, this was me. Oh, I see. This is the new line. That's a super minor thing. We should be able to fix that for Joe and give it a try. So this is basically... I would do this in NeoVim, and I know some of you've asked me, how do you do this in NeoVim? But I do not have access to Joe's branch directly. I think I can do this. Commit to main. I don't think I can push to main. All right, well, I'll just tell Joe that it's a simple one-liner. His main and my main. He's learning. I don't know if he's here tonight. Joe, are you here? We're looking at your code tonight, bro. We will get rid of all this stuff. Check out main. Here's Joe's main. Joe's here. We're going to look at your code, man. We're going to verify this together live. And if we like it, we're going to merge it. But you have one line that you got to fix. And I don't know if I can fix it on my end. Or I can't tell. It said merge to main, but I don't know if that's your main or my main. GitHub was very unreliable there. You're good. You're good. You're on the spot. But so if it all breaks, you know, that's okay. We can fix it, right? All right, so here's the idea, everybody. You have a new TOML file. And so you can go to your .config and basically you make a directory called sesh. And in this, you create a file called sesh.toml. And in the file sesh.toml, you can add some configuration options. Now, the first one, and I think this is totally fine, is this idea of a startup script. And so you have a path to the thing that you want, and then you have the script. And so what it'll do is it'll match, okay, this session by this path will require this script. And so it won't run it when it gets attached. It'll only run it when you first create the session. So for me, that's csesh. And so I may say, okay, I'm actually going to do this, Joe. I am going to, let's see, I'm going to config sesh. Yes. And in this place, I'm going to make a directory called scripts. And then I'm going to touch one called sesh. Let's call it sh, sure. And I've got a .files bin. I got one of these that might be useful. Is it going to be one of these? No, it won't be here. But I should have, all right, so let's get our bin bash thing going on here. I swore I saved this somewhere. And the way that it works is you basically just execute really basic commands. I know I have one somewhere. I bet it's in this project. Did I get rid of it? I think I did. Let's see if... Let's see if we can find it in my search history. I wish it showed you how many lines are added, removed, and deleted here. That would be super helpful right now. Let's also see if I added the T script. So this is how I've done it. It works super well for me this way. We might have to modify this slightly. And I think I prefer that. So for those that don't know, this line will execute the bash on your computer. This one will use the bash that you've installed. So like if you've installed Homebrew's more recent version of bash, you would go this route and you would say, in my environment, run the bash. Versus bin bash is just whatever the computer ships, which is usually some super old version. So a little pro tip if you want a newer version. Okay, so here's how this one works. You can split the window, right? We're going to do 30%. And this is actually a dev script. So this is npm run dev. I could show you guys how that works. And then you can select the pane. We're going to create the other pane that wasn't that didn't run npm dev. We're going to switch back to the other one, and then we're going to run nvim on that. And so I don't know if this one's going to play out exactly the way that I think. But let's go ahead and _config. We're going to say that joshmedeski.com needs to point to config sesh script startup. Oh, that was not helpful at all. What was that? Script / startup. Yes. Look at all these unknown words. Okay, so that's the idea. I don't know if it's going to work the first time. When does anything ever work the first time, right? So we will, I guess we're going to look at the connect command. Did you write this code? I think it's written in the tmux connect. We look for the command. Yeah, so there's the exec script. So exec startup script. Fine, works for me. It does look at bash, and then it executes the file with bash. Interesting. Okay. That should be fine. And then you run the command. So you send keys. Persistent command. I have to figure that one out. I have lost you guys. Let me go back. Let me see if anything has been said in my exploring all of this. All right, cool. So this is seeming all right. I think this one has to be returned, Joe. We got to return this print. And then sesh, startup script, sesh, it's all good. All right, so then if I go run connects joshmedeski.com, it will try, won't it? It sure tried to do something. I don't know what. How do we know when it runs or doesn't run? The hardest part about this feature is going to be No such thing. Oh, did I not name it that? What did I name it? What did I name it? Config. I think I put it in the wrong place. Let's call it Josh from Des. Let's call this node dev.sh. And let's make sure that we make it executable, because we won't get very far without that. I think I accidentally put it in sesh. Yes. So then this becomes node dev. User error, Joe. That was not your fault at all. That was my fault. Let's go back to sesh. And we sourced it. This could work, but it didn't work this time. So bash-c source that thing. You gave me an example script, so maybe I should go rip that in. Okay. Let's go to config. Let's open that. It might help if there's something in the script now, wouldn't it? New window to, where did my file go? I guess we'll just try this. Let's just see if this works. Now, this is like a split and send keys. Okay. Let's go to sesh and let's run it. Okay. It worked. It did its thing. It started up. Look, I could do this too. It started up. Come on, Apple. I know Apple can't do it. We're not FaceTiming, are we? Go. Yay. Yay. All right, so I get it. I think that we're off to a good start. I think that people are going to want to do certain things with it, and so we're going to want to be more explicit. People really like Tmuxifier. This is the YAML approach, is it? No, it's the SH approach. Yeah, so you do it's a similar sort of pattern. Is this like, why does this work? Why do these commands work without starting with tmux? So this is all shell based, so we could totally read this. We're excited. Yay. So these are examples. Yeah, so this is like, hey, this thing may not exist yet, so let's create it. What we're going for is, I still want to be able to do my thing where I go to file. We are going to I want to tmux send keys. The target pane. Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff I've done in the past. So the way that I played around with this a bit when we were going, we've actually done a different live stream on this feature, which I'm just trying to wrap my head around some of the decisions that were made back then. I want to, do you have to create a session? So the thing I was doing, where is my script? Can I run my script here? I want to split the window and run this command. I want to switch back to the other pane. And then I want to send the keys to this one. So let's just see if this works. Yeah, it does. That's cool. Way to go, Joe. Totally works. Sure. So what you guys didn't see in the background is it decided to open up on the browser. Oh, that's YouTube. Hey, look, it's my website. 8888. So boom, it worked. Very cool. We will work on documentation. We will work on... so Joe, what do you guys think? I want Joe's opinion, but I want others' opinions. I thought of originally that we work out a way to... Let me go back to config. That we create a scripts folder in config sesh. So config sesh scripts, and those things live there, and maybe you could execute any one of those at any time on any session without having to configure it. Like there'd literally just be like a sesh execute command, and that would fetch all of the scripts in the script folder and let you pick which one you want, and whichever one you pick, it executes it. That's sort of the idea that I had. Would you guys like the idea that like you put all of your scripts in one place? Previously, I like put it in version control in each project, and I did not like that approach. I thought it was sort of monotonous. So like, where would you put these scripts, right? That's sort of the question here. So let me know what you're thinking, but I already know. Yeah, centralizing scripts. But if we did it in a way that they were all centralized here, then I think it would make sense to like move this to node dev, and I'm going to just call it node dev, and then I'm going to create another one. Now I'm going to copy this one, and we're going to call this go dev, go. Yeah, so Agus is like, hey, project router. I totally get that, but I've noticed almost every single one of my projects all share the same script because I have found a way to build a lot of consistency in my life. That's the way I like it anyway. So all my node projects are dev scripts, test scripts, build scripts. They're all the same scripts. For so far, Go projects are like go run main, go test, all tests kind of thing. And so I'm not against what you're saying. I think as the way that Joe's written it, that's what you get to do. You can just do whatever it is you want with the project. Oh, and VS Code wants to open. Let's hit E. Okay, so I see that error. Don't worry about it. We've got node dev. And what's cool about Toml is with these double brackets, you can like create an array of startup scripts. So this one would be sesh, and this would be go, the go sesh script. And the go sesh script, if I can say that 10 times fast, is going to go. I don't want to run it. I just want to send keys. So we're going to send keys, go run main. Yes, go run main.go. And then we're going to switch, and then we're going to do that. And then we're going to say tmux new window. Are we going to do that? Maybe not. Maybe we'll do a vertical split, and maybe we'll do a horizontal split. And what was the -p30? Okay, so the last argument is the command. So we would say go test that. All right, let's see what happens. We'll go to sesh. We're going to close this. I have to be in sesh to run it, so that's fun. So let's just do that. C sesh. Are we in the right one? Yes. And then we want to go run connect sesh. Hey, that's cool. Although this I didn't want to enter. So, and this I want to make smaller. And that's fun. It totally worked. But I didn't want it to be split there. So did I do it in the wrong order? Split the window vertically down here. Don't hit enter here. %, do that, do that, do that. Okay, I like that. So let's go ahead and close sesh again. So that's the idea. I am going to try to break this, Joe. So what happens if we put in a bad script? What happens? I'm guessing it will just give us the output of like, hey, this thing didn't work, which makes sense. Let's go ahead and kill that node server. Okay, so now we go back to sesh and we run sesh, and I have the thing that I want. That's very cool. So now I am focused here. How would I go about focusing the first session? Tmux send command to focus first pane in window. I think it's going to be like a select pane. Yeah. Very cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, so let's try one more time. We're going to close that. We're going to go back to this guy and get rid of these. And we're going to rerun. Cool, cool. So now I can say, like, I want tmux go, please. All the tests are okay. Can we, like, watch? Nah, I don't know if we want to watch. We just want to make sure they pass. We could also go build. We could also go... We could build it to sesh. There's a lot of things I could do, but the ideas are fine. I might even do a go test and then go run main. Well, it's cool. For those that don't know, I use little something called NeoTest, which runs my tests in line. So that's my way of actually being productive. We got our benchmark tests as well. So I wonder if we want to like run the big boy go test coverage. By the way, I added a little bit of reporting here. So if we go to our actions, oh, that is the wrong project. If we go to our actions, we can see here, all tests pass. Hey, how about that? That's pretty cool. It should tell you that tests fail when they fail. which is also pretty cool. But anyway, that's a nice little quality of life thing that I added this week. This is cool, Joe. I think it does what it needs to do, and I think that people can iterate on this as we move along. So if you want, we can merge this. I've already looked over most of the source code here. It's doing what we expect. I guess the sanity check here, like we talked about earlier, is go run main go connect sesh. That's the error we already had. Is that because you're not caught up to main? That's because you're not caught up to main. Okay, so that will go away when we merge to main. And then can I switch to another project? Yes, that's pretty cool. It's a little bit extra when you don't want to do that, but maybe there's some flag we can say to like ignore exec command or something. Lots of ideas for sure, but they don't all have to be done in one setting. Okay, so I say we let you guys start playing around with this. I'm sure. Okay, thank you, Zoom. That was on accident. Home dir config, yeah. And then we pointed in sesh toml. I might update the docs. I might make a video on this to tell you how it works. Oh, but Joe, this is interesting. You have specifically said that if the command flag was used, then you're basically unable to overwrite it. It's like the command overwrites itself. So look what I'm doing. So I, in my tmux config, basically just say like, hey, every single time I ever switch to any project, I want to open up Vim and show the finder to like pick files. I do that all the time for every project. When we drop this thing in and I decide, oh, I want to spin up joshmineski.com, I don't get the session. And now I can't get the global. You said there's some sort of global one, right? Is that what I need to do to replace this? I think it is. Default startup script. Yes. So see, Joe thought of this. Look at this. So we're going to go to config and we're going to open this back up. And this is our first global config thing. So what I want to do is we're going to copy this and say open files. All right. So we're going to just send those keys. Open files. Yep. Oh, this isn't supposed to be there. All right. So then that's that. Why are all of these like that? All right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Open files. And that becomes this guy. Open files. So now I should be able to, oh, this isn't going to work because this is my homebrew path. All right, so let's go to sesh, close it, close that, close that. I don't want to close that. Let's just detach. All right. So now if I run go run main go connect sesh, we get our sesh stuff. Very cool. And if we run like, I don't know, downloads, do I want to show you guys my downloads? No, I don't. Dot files. It just opens up .files. Very cool. And that actually simplifies, come on. That simplifies this process. And what am I thinking? Yeah, so this is something that was kind of how it used to work. I know I'm a little late to this comment, but that is kind of how it used to work. It was like, hey, if there's a file, a dot file in your project, pick it up and use it. Again, for the sake of simplicity, it felt sort of straightforward, but I have found, and this is my opinion on this right now, no one else but you is going to use this in your project. I hate to burst the bubble, but like probably 90% of your coworkers, maybe more, don't use Tmux, don't use Homebrew, like they don't use Sesh, like they don't use these tools. Maybe some of them use Homebrew, but like they don't use Sesh, they don't use Tmux. Most people are VS Coders or whatever. So the idea of polluting your Git repository with a script file that's executable that they don't even know about, and they may not understand it, and they may question why it's there. That sort of conversation feels unnecessary if most projects are going to have similar structures, like the Go project. If I opened up Gitmux or Lazy Git or one of the other Go projects, I could also use that same script again. And if I make an improvement and go, okay, I want to test and I want to do this and I want to do that, great. You can also create like variations. Your teammates use Windows. Yeah, so you're kind of you're speaking to the choir here. Yeah, so that's my thought on this, is that we do keep them separate, because as someone who already tried doing it that way, it was like a pain. It was not. The moment that I was like, oh, I could do something slightly better with my Tmux script, I had to go to every project and update that script. And I know you could symbolically link, and I know there's other ways around it, but in this case, sesh stays with sesh, and that feels really good right now. So Joe, I like the implementation. I think it's really good. I think that we should merge it. And I'm going to find out if I regret this and you guys start spamming me in the morning because of something that goes horribly wrong. But I'm learning open source. Sometimes you just got to let things go and see how they stick. Okay, so there's some things going on here. Did you happen to fix that merge conflict? Joe, are you still around, Soul Dialect? If you're still here, there is one line of code that has to be fixed before I can merge this. And I know in future development, use a different branch name, because I don't know if this merge conflict thing works. I don't know if this merges to your main or my main. I'm assuming it would have to merge to you. This basically needs to go here. I guess we could just find out what happens if I do it. Yeah, so here it says mark is resolved, and it says heads up committing to main. Who's main? They're both main. Okay, I'm gonna click it, and we're gonna hopefully not blow everything up. Ah, I was able to commit to yours. That's cool. I wonder if it's because I'm the admin on the project, so all of the forks I'm allowed to, or maybe just because it's a PR. By the way, not a requirement, but feel free to verify your commits if you want. It'll make the project seem a little bit more secure. Who knows who's coding to this, right? Sesh with Zelage. Oh, it should have been his main. Yeah, it was. I was just nervous being on stream. Zelage, great question. I got a Zelage question. I've been researching. Where is my Zelage support ticket? It is closed because I submitted a ticket saying, hey, I want you to extend the CLI for sessions. And I want you to be able to create and switch sessions in order to add new workflows. And basically, they're like, well, we're not going to do that, basically. So they're like, that's just not what we want to do. And I was like, all right. And you can see down here that they said, like, I'm actively working on bridging this gap where it's like plugins do these things, but like we want to be able to have these exposed. And then he's like, all right, well, like, do whatever makes you happy. And I'm like, all right, well, fine. Like, I guess you don't want to implement this feature right now. So it is what it is. But without these really basic, like, interfaces, like a way to interact with the tooling, it's not really possible. So I've even looked at like plugin development opportunities, like SDKs and stuff in the plugin space for Zellage, and again, they have their own session manager. It sort of gives you randomly named sessions, and it looks kind of cool, but it's not useful enough as sesh is, where you can pick, one of your projects and create a session based off of that project on the fly quickly. So that's my long-winded answer of we can't do it right now. But I'm happy to reopen the ticket. So like here, after discussing, doesn't have the proper support right now to implement something like sesh. I'm closing this for now. If they update their API, we can revisit this. So I'm totally open to revisiting it, but it's not possible right now. But it's been very great. Soul Dialect, Joe, it's been great having you, man. I'm grateful for you and the work that you're putting into this, because it's a cool feature. And the moment that I ship this and deploy it, I am going to update my config, and I'm going to add some new sessions, and I'm going to immediately start playing around with it. Mark asks a good question as I play around with this. I'm using Westterm. Westterm. That's what gives me this background image. All my keyboard bindings are good, and I'm happy with them. So we are going to merge this because I am going to approve it. Oh, you guys want to see? Now we'll do it. Now we'll do it. Check this out. So this project needs my review. This is called GitHub Dash. Made by Dolev, who's on the Discord server. He's a friend of ours, and he's part of the conversation. If I hit capital O, it opens it up in Octo. And so here's the project, and here's our threads and our discussions, and I can talk about things. I can look at the commit history and stuff, and then I can say that I want to start a review. And in doing so, it will pull up. Will it pull it up? Continue. Maybe I have to continue. What is it? Resume. I have to resume. So if I resume my current PR review, then I can go through these. So we can sort of scan through them, and I'm pretty happy with this. I might need to set wrap. And so, yeah, this is looking good. And again, as I scroll, it like syncs. If I hit tab, I bound this to tab. So if I hit tab, it'll cycle through each of these. So we can see that the connect, we're having to override that. And was this marked as resolved yet? I think we're fine with that. Parsing the config. Parsing the config. And this is our new file for config, and we have struts on the session path and script path and the startup scripts and default scripts. Good work overall. I'm really excited to see this. So we can add more configs. I've already looked at most of this, so I'm being quick. The connect takes a config. This is a bug. We can't do this, Joe. We gotta add. there's a missing, you're overwriting the previous error here. And instead we need to assign error to the return statement here. So that might be one of the reasons that that bug popped up earlier. So I don't know if I can make a commit and push. I think I can. So I can add a comment saying, oh no, actually, I can make a suggestion and I can say, we need a, here, it's please. And we will continue. Oh, I just screwed that up. You're not supposed to do that. All right. And I just screwed up all this. All right, so we're gonna, sometimes I screw this up. Resume. All right. It's kind of funny. You have to like save the buffer and then leave the buffer. But if you close the buffer, it kind of causes some bugs. Our mod, we're adding the toml stuff. And then we're passing the config more in more places. We're determining the name, moving the, yeah, so that may or may not happen. I don't know if we're even going to keep that feature. So we'll probably remove that code. And then basically we're overloading the connect with more conditions. I might in the future want to wrap this up in a simpler way. We may play with error handling a bit more. Definitely things to think about, but I'm still kind of new to Go and I'm figuring this out along the way. But I think it's a good starting point. And so I can say, submit the review, and I can say that it looks good to me. I have a shortcut. Why isn't it? Look, what is happening? I can't type. What just happened? That was so lame. I do this every day. I do this like multiple times a day. I don't know why that happened. All right, submit. Looks good to me. And we're gonna hit Control A and it's gonna approve it. I think you can like merge it and stuff, but I'm not as worried about all of that. We're basically gonna say feature, implement config and startup scripts. And we're gonna say that it does this, implements parsing. Creates pattern for future use, and then the startup scripts aren't mentioned here. That's all right. So add startup script to set to configure a startup script for projects. All right, we're gonna do it. You guys can start playing with this tonight if you want. So it's merged. What I like to do is I check this out, pull that in. We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to mark this v.8.0, new feature. No breaking changes, just a new feature. And I just push the tag. So that's lazy git, if those aren't familiar with it. And if I use raycast to look for workflow runs, we can see that it'll push to main and make sure everything's good, and then it'll push the tag, which is what we care about. And when we push a tag, it will build and publish the homebrew tap. And my dogs are playing. All right, so Joe, I feel super good about that. We can go to the next one, but I wanted this live. I definitely wanted this to be out there for all of you to start playing with. So check the README. If the README is not super clear, we'll make it better over time. There we go. Ubuntu passed. Node 16, interesting. Yes, great job. Great job, Joe. Joe is the one who authored this. So we're going to give him the shout out today. And then you'll see, it's funny, no one's started discussions yet for some reason. If you have ideas, feel free to go to the discussion section. So now it's just a matter of, check this out. This is what I'm going to do. If you're here as well, I do brew update, and then I do brew upgrade sesh. I don't know if the update's needed every time, but we should see 8.8.0. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait a little while. I don't think we're quite there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. But Go releaser's been super great. So shout out to Steve. Steve was here on chat a little while back. And he wasn't on chat, he was on stream, and he showed me Go releaser. There we go, there's 8.0. Feel free to download it, everybody. And then in my dot files, in my tmux file, tmux.conf, I can take this command and I can get rid of it from here. And I should still be able to, there's my session, very cool. Let's just kill tmux. Let's just do sesh. So that one didn't do what I thought it would. I thought this one would have started up that session. Config sesh. Oh, that's not right. Sesh. Open files. Go, nodem, go. Interesting, that one didn't work. I don't know why. Dude, so glad it got pushed in. Have a good day, everybody. I'm gonna probably wrap up here soon. I'm tired. I had a long week, and so tomorrow's Friday for me, but let's see. I'm just checking. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. No pun intended, but this was fun. Go play with startup scripts. Have fun with it. Tell me how it goes. Submit tickets if something comes up that you're not able to do. If work needs to be done, please make a ticket so that we can actually assign it to people and not step over each other's toes. But you've got a starting point. You got the default script. You've got the startup scripts. And so there's a really good entry point here in getting stuff done. Let's see. Yeah, this totally works. I will say there's a little bit of a delay versus just using the command directly, but we might be able to, oh, there we go. Now it worked. We can play around with it in the future. Sweet. Well, everyone have a good night. I'll see you on the Discord server. If you're not there, feel free to join us. We have lots of conversations there. You can find it on my website. And I will be making an official sesh video for YouTube here in the next week or two, so that more people know about it and can start downloading it and playing around with it and getting more productive, hopefully. And thanks. See you guys next time.